everybody, it's your girl Hago, and today I want to talk about the moment I realized I was envious. Envy. Who the heck wants to admit they've ever felt that? Envy has such a negative connotation, and while I don't believe that it's something you should be skipping through the medals about, I do believe that it's the emotion that must be expressed, confessed, addressed, and released. And I'm so glad that I felt the emotion and experienced it so that I can not only grow and be a better person, but share this experience. And I also developed empathy for the emotion itself. So let's get straight into it. When did I realize I was envious? So let's go. Now, remember I said how feeling envy helped me develop compassion for the emotion itself. Growing up, I always thought that envy was prevalent with beauty. So when I would get envy, we also saw that quote, people don't just envy your beauty, they envy your vibe, the way you love, the way people treat you, the way, you light up a room when you walk in. We all saw that, right? So when people envy me, and it happened a lot in my life and my relationships, it would hurt me because I would notice they would distance from me, they would try to one up me, they wouldn't clap for my wins, they would demean me, they would do little things that made me feel like it was wrong for me to grow. So I equated success with loss because I was somebody that, although I wasn't the standard of beauty, the beauty standard, I was somebody that was always a go-getter, always on top of goals, always doing what I got to do. And I didn't know that that was something people could envy. And but that was something that happened in my relationships a lot, and I used to get so mad, like, what you envying me for? Like, I really truly did not understand, and I looked down on the emotion because what it resulted in me losing people, it resulted in me feeling bad about myself, it resulted in me just questioning myself as a whole, developing tall poppy seed syndrome and all those things. But I never really bashed the emotion, but it was a red flag for me. So if I noticed somebody was envying somebody that was talking to me or, seeking advice, I would tell them to steer clear, keep your distance. You can't repair envy. Oh no, once somebody envies you, get out. But when I experienced it myself, I said, oh shoot. But what a lot of people didn't know about me was I felt insecure about the way I looked. Being completely transparent and honest right now, I am not society's standard of beauty. When we look at women in the media, I don't fit that criteria. I often hung around people who were, majority of the time lighter than me. They fit the society standard of beauty. And I'm not going to lie, that put a dent in my self-esteem at times as well. A particular time that, if I'm honest with myself, I realized I was actually just numbing myself out from the emotion itself. I kept telling myself, don't be envious, don't be envious, don't be envious. Or when I would feel some inadequacy, or I would just stuff it down, but I didn't really deal with it. So that is something that I learned as well, and this is what ends up making the emotion destructive. Because when you feel it, the first thing you gotta do is acknowledge it. Like, as soon as you feel it coming up, you know when an emotion is coming up. Any emotion, you have to be real about it. Because if you try to lie about it or you stuff it down, it's gonna come back in destructive ways. And that's what ended up happening to me, not just with envy, but even with other emotions. So just understand, anything you suppress is gonna fester until you address it. So that's emotion 101. So basically what I noticed is that I envy pretty girl privilege, and because I didn't have it. And I was tested in a particular situation with family members and friends where they would get, more attention from guys. I seen the privilege that they had. They would get treated better by waiters. They would get treated better just in public. They would get more attention. They would receive more favor. And that didn't make me feel good, being completely honest. And I didn't feel like I got that kind of attention or that kind of privilege. So when I actually sat with myself and I was honest about it, I was like, oh my God. I actually felt envy way before I even thought, but there was a situation that triggered it recently in my life, and that made me reflect on my past and what I feel like I didn't have, what I lacked, and it came back. It came back to bite me in the behind. So let me tell you guys this: when I was around people that was getting flirted with more, when I saw the access and the favor that they had in public and the things that they got away with, that did not make me feel good. It made me feel really bad about myself. It made me feel really inadequate. And I would beat myself up. And let me tell you, it was in that moment, right, when I was with these people who had the privilege, that I begin to have empathy for people who envied me. Let me tell y'all something. It is one thing to not envy someone or not care about, to not experience envy if somebody never had what you cared about. So if somebody had an Xbox, I would, and I don't care because I'm not a gamer. Somebody was good at math and engineering, I wouldn't care because I don't want nothing to do with math. If somebody knew how to build things really fast, I wouldn't care because I have no desire to be in construction. But when it came to something that I really cared about, which was feeling beautiful and feeling pretty, and people that had that, it made me feel insecure. Like, just being completely honest. And let me tell you something. When you're around somebody that wants what you have and you are constantly being reminded of it, that sucks. That's a true test. See, it's easy to be like, oh, I never experienced envy. Oh no, I don't. We don't do that over here. We not. I mean, that's easy to say when somebody has what you do, what you already have, or what you don't care about. But if somebody has something that you really want, success, a body, beauty, money, something that you really desire, and a lot of times what you'll realize, and as I've explored this emotion in myself, as hard as it was for me to admit, a lot of the times it's shallow things. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I'm ugly, I'm not saying that no, but I'm being real. My look is not a representation in the media. You know, so we gotta be real about this stuff, we gotta talk about this stuff, you know. So when I was around it and I saw the privilege that they got and I saw how many times they was getting flirted with and it happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over, I began to have empathy for people that envied me. And it was they envied my success, the way I achieved things, right? But it was in that moment I realized they probably thought to themselves, I don't feel good enough. I'm not as good as Mahogany. I felt I'm not as good as she is. I'm not as pretty as she is. And it reveals a weakness within you, but then it's also something for you to pay attention to. People don't know that I put a lot of weight in my abilities and my skills because I feel like I lacked in the physical department. I didn't feel like I was pretty enough. But I began to empathize and I began to say, wow, I see why people distance from me. I see why people one-up me. I see why people gave me side eyes. I see why people tried to make me feel inferior because I was a constant reminder of something that they didn't have. And to be completely honest, when you envy someone, it's showing you actually what you are capable of doing or capable of achieving. So I'm capable of having confidence. I'm capable of stepping my game up. And honestly, it's a little twist, but we're not going to get into all that. We're not going to get into all that. We just dealing with the transparency of the emotion itself. I encourage you that when this emotion comes up, to be very compassionate towards yourself and to be honest. You have to be real about it. Talk about it with a trusted friend, a trusted professional. Like for me, it revealed my insecurities, it revealed the things I felt inferior about. So I had to sit with myself and address, me not feeling beautiful enough because I wasn't society's standard of beauty, me feeling inadequate because it felt like a sin to be myself. Being a dark-skinned girl with 4C textured hair. I also have a lazy eye. I have a lot of deformities. So I never fit into the mold of the beauty standard. I didn't feel like I did. And I still saw that growing up. So that continues to haunt me to this day. But what I have to learn and what constantly life is going to keep showing me where I'm insecure at so I can tweak it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you have someone who's envious of you, like I said, I'm not saying to be buddy with someone. I'm just encouraging you to have a little compassion and even be honest with yourself when this emotion surfaces. Just be careful bashing it. Like, oh, I don't hang out with no haters. Oh, we don't, blah, blah, blah. Oh, ew, you envy, get up. Like, just be careful doing that because those things you bash and ridicule, you will slowly become. I understand too, not even just envying, but being envied. So I understand you watching this and somebody envied you and you got betrayed and they done put all your business on Twitter. They done did some of the most outrageous things to you. I'm not invalidating you. I'm not saying to go hug them and give them a hug and give them a kiss and act like it didn't happen. So for me, I have a lazy eye. I have a disformed thumb. I have afro textured hair, which I grew to love, and I'm also dark skinned. So those four things, as I was growing up, were frowned down upon. So being myself felt wrong. So when I saw women that were the opposite of that, with fair skin, they had looser curls or straight hair, and they were society standard of beauty. They had like the features, they had it going on, and I saw that. And I'm not gonna lie, I can even attest to I don't feel like I was ever insecure about my complexion, just wanting to fit into that mold of beauty. So the women that fit into that and I didn't have it, I envied them. So you just got to be real about this stuff first and foremost before you can actually deal with it and heal. And I'm going to be even realer. Admitting this emotion is hard too, because you feel like a hater, you feel bad about yourself, you feel like, oh my God, like how can I feel this? Like I feel something, because I'm telling you, since I experienced it so much, I didn't want to become it. You know what I'm saying? But what I realized is I actually could relate to the people that envied me. I just wasn't honest about it because I kept numbing myself from the emotion. So if you feel like a hater, if you feel bad about yourself, I understand exactly how you feel. And that's pretty normal. That's why a lot of people don't like admitting it, because it comes with so much turmoil. But I'm here to tell you, it is freedom in admitting it, dealing with it, talking it out, and moving forward. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's your girl Hago signing out.